too much?
Why do it?
It's my money. It's my money.
In 1968, Shirley Chisholm did the impossible. She became the first black woman elected to the United States Congress. In 1972, she shattered another barrier, becoming the first black candidate for a major party's presidential nomination. She was a pioneer, an icon of strength and intelligence, a woman who made history. But behind that history was a private struggle, a dynamic with her husband, Conrad Chisolm, that the new film Shirley puts on full display. And this dynamic holds a devastating key to understanding a modern crisis, why relationships are failing, and why a painful stereotype about black women persists. To understand that key, you first have to hear the modern complaint.
We need to talk about an elephant in the room. And that's all these black men out here in the public sphere who clearly don't like black women. Exhibit A, Stephen A. Smith. And y'all already see me talk about Shannon Sharp and plenty of others. Every week it seems like there's another clip, another hot take that's really just another opportunity to punch down on black women. And I'm frankly sick of it. Maybe some of them got rejected by a black girl they liked in middle school or high school. Maybe their mama didn't hug them hard enough. Maybe they've spent their adult lives chasing white validation. Whatever it is, a lot of them are living out loud their self-hatred, and it's time we stop pretending not to see it.
This is the loud public conversation we hear today. It's often framed as self-hatred, but what if that's a surface level explanation? What if the root cause is something deeper, something about purpose and partnership that we can see clearly in the story of Shirley and Conrad Chisholm? What if the real issue is a fundamental clash of purposes? This isn't a diss video. This is an autopsy of a modern relationship crisis, and our primary evidence is the story of a political icon. Big shout out to Dr. T. Hassan Johnson for this video topic request. Salute, 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 salute. Make sure you check out his channel. Keep up the good work, sir. Quick note, to give you the best experience without copyright interruptions, our full uncut content is available on Patreon. So if you enjoy our content and want the full experience, support us on Patreon. Patreon gang, salute, salute, spoiler alert. This video contains spoilers, so you've been warned. Now it's time for us to get into this and do what we gotta do. Because we many.
Who do I have to talk to?
Speaker McCormick makes all the committee assignments, but he's Speaker of the House. You don't talk to the Speaker of the House. Oh, Lord.
From the first minutes of Shirley, the film makes one thing crystal clear. Shirley Chisholm is not waiting for permission. She's moving, she's talking, she's planning, strategizing, pushing, insisting, commanding. Every room she walks into, she's already 3 steps ahead of everyone else. People tell her no, and she treats it like background noise. This is not a passive woman. This is a disagreeable woman. And in psychology, disagreeable doesn't mean rude or hostile. It means driven, assertive, unafraid of conflict, wired for leadership. And the movie nails this.
There is no good reason for you to appoint me to the Agricultural Committee. I represent the 12th District of New York City.
You will take the assignment you're given and
jobs
not make a
and fair
fuss.
housing,
When
and
you
that's
earn
why they
some
voted me
seniority,
in.
we'll talk about
Seniority? I don't want to hear about seniority, John. If you want me to fight you on this, I'll fight you.
You are not going to fight anyone. I am Speaker of the House. I decide who sits where, and you better fall in line, or you're going to kill your career before it even gets started. Andrew, here.
You see her knocking on doors that were never supposed to open for her. You see her challenging the political machine. You see her refusing to shrink herself just to make other people comfortable. She is operating with the kind of intensity that makes history, but also requires a certain kind of personality. A masculine coded personality. Not male, masculine, focused, relentless, dominant, forward moving, unafraid of confrontation, unapologetically mission first. These are the traits that let her become the first in rooms that didn't want her there. The traits that let her go toe to toe with men who underestimated her. The traits that made her a political force and a cultural disruptor.
And after I taught Shirley all that, She turns around and runs against me for president of my own league.
You still work with her? You forgive her?
Nothing to forgive. Shirley believes in the necessary. At the time, she thought it was necessary for her to replace me. That's something to remember when you talk about guiding Shirley.
And here's the thing, those traits are not bad. In fact, they're necessary. You cannot play at the highest levels of politics, especially in 1968 as a black woman, without stepping into that masculine frame. She needed that edge to survive. But this is where the film becomes more than a biopic, because once you see how she operates in public, you start to wonder how that same intensity plays out in private, especially with the man standing beside her, Conrad Chisolm. Because every strength comes with a shadow. Every trait that builds an empire can strain a relationship.
So, what do you think?
A little late to be asking me now.
But it's not too late.
So what happens when the qualities that make you unstoppable in the world are the same qualities that quietly undermine the home you return to?
It has been said, behind every great man is a great woman. Behind Shirley Chisholm is Conrad Chisholm, an investigator for the City Bureau of Medical Services. You two have been married for 19 years. How would you describe each other?
Well, I tell you, I remember a time when she was introduced at a dinner by the MC, and it was very fitting to me that he described her as 100 pounds of nuclear energy. And I think it was very appropriate.
Well, I would describe my husband as 200 pounds of patience. My husband is a remarkable man. I can truthfully say that I would not have been able to reach the top unless I had a very understanding mate. And indeed, I know it has been most difficult for him occasionally.
Shirley's personality doesn't have an off switch. The same relentless forward-driving energy that commands a political rally now commands the household. The same woman who refuses to take no from the political machine cannot suddenly become a passive wife at home. And this is where the film reveals something most people are afraid to say. A woman like Shirley can only exist in a marriage with a very specific kind of man. Enter Conrad Chisolm.
Well, I've had to sacrifice quite a bit, but I enjoy sacrificing it for what she's doing.
Conrad is patient. Conrad sacrifices. Conrad folds his ambitions to make space for hers. He follows her to campaign stops, political events, and emotional battlefields he never asked for. He is the harmony to her melody. Because here's the truth, nobody wants to say out loud, a woman with leader energy only pairs successfully with a man willing to take the supporter role. You cannot have two captains on one ship.
We already put in 20,000 of our own money. Now you want to put in another 36,000 on top? Why are you doing this? Why go on? I don't understand.
Conrad?
What people walking out on you, giving up on you. I don't understand why you want to keep going out there alone, torturing yourself. It hurts
I'm
when
not
I see
alone.
this. What's
there are
happening
people who
to
put
you.
their blood and
It hurts
sweat
to
into what we're
watch
doing.
it.
What would you have me tell them, huh? Fight, but not too much?
Why do it?
It's my money. It's my money.
You're right. It is your money. It's your campaign. So why even pretend to care about what I think?
That moment exposes a truth nobody likes to touch. When a man is the breadwinner, he provides for everyone. When a woman is the breadwinner, she provides for herself. Men take care of the family. Women take care of themselves. This is why women don't date down. Because to them, money isn't responsibility. It's independence. Control. Shirley didn't want support. She wanted sovereignty. Control. And Conrad simply said the quiet part out loud.
Not control. But most of us, many of us, I'm in recovery, are control freaks. So it's a whole nother way, a whole nother vibe. She raises her hand.
Every relationship, gay, straight, modern, traditional, eventually settles into a dynamic. Leader and follower, dominant and complementary, driving energy and stabilizing energy. Not a hierarchy of value, but a hierarchy of roles. One person drives, the other navigates. One person directs, the other stabilizes. When both want control, the relationship becomes a constant power struggle. When neither wants control, it becomes chaos. Shirley is the captain by nature and necessity. Conrad becomes the anchor that keeps her steady enough to aim for the presidency. It's the only dynamic that works with a woman like her. But here's where the tension begins. When a woman carries the masculine role outside and carries the masculine role inside the home, the man who supports her might hold her up practically, but not always emotionally. And that creates a biological vacuum she can't admit, but can't escape. What happens when the follower cannot give the leader what she emotionally and even biologically craves? What makes Shirley's marriage so compelling isn't just the pressure of politics. It's the collision between her power and her expectations. In one of the film's most revealing moments, Shirley is attacked, and what she says to her husband is one of the key reasons modern relationships collapse.
Anyway, the police got him now.
Where were you? He was that close to me. You're supposed to be my security. You're supposed to protect me. Where were you?
This is pure gold. She turns to her husband and blames him for not protecting her. Where were you? That line is the dagger, because here's the uncomfortable truth. If the roles were reversed, a man could never say that to his wife. A husband could never come home, look his wife in the eye, and say, "You should have protected me. You failed me." It wouldn't even register because our culture, biology, and psychology all place the protector role on the man. And this is where the relationship breaks.
I try as hard as I can to be the man you want. Attentive and mindful but always out of the way and off to the side. I do it. I'm happy to do it because I know how important all this is to you.
It's not just for me.
I know all the good that you can do. So I'll be a shadow. Because I know, for whatever reason, a shadow of a man is what you want. But don't get upset with me when I'm a little too good at it.
Boom! And this is the moment women hate. This is the moment women cannot hear. It's like nails on a chalkboard, and what Conrad just said cuts right through the armor. This is where the resentment towards Conrad comes in, because Conrad just exposed the role confusion. Shirley wants to lead in public and lead at home, but when something goes wrong, she expects her husband to suddenly switch into the traditional male protector role, a role she has unintentionally pushed him out of. He's literally holding the camera for her campaign photos. Yet he's blamed for not being there when she is attacked.
Girl, I can't be in two places at one time.
It's emotional whiplash. He's told to follow until she needs him to lead. Now look at Shirley's reaction when Conrad says, "I'll be your shadow, but don't get upset with me if I'm a little too good at it."
A shadow of a man is what you want.
This is the face of a woman who doesn't understand that. Leadership comes with trade-offs. You cannot lead and expect someone else to absorb the consequences of your leadership. This is the myth of the power couple that modern women love. I lead when I want. He leads when I need. Life doesn't work that way.
Girl, I can't be in two places at one time.
Most men instinctively know this. If he is the public leader, the pressure lands on him, the responsibility lands on him, and he cannot blame his wife for the fallout of his choices. But Shirley, despite being the one in power, still subconsciously expects male protection. She wants the authority of leadership and the emotional shelter of being protected. That contradiction tears the marriage open.
Girl, I can't be in two places at one time.
This is the core of the crisis. When the woman holds the dominant public role, the deep psychological expectation for the man to be the protector, the rock, the shield does not disappear. It lingers. It creates silent friction. She wants to lead, but she still wants to feel led. He wants to support, but he's stripped of the very identity, protector, provider, that defines how men love.
They said, Chisholm, we know what you're going through. We know how rough and how tough, but we know that you have the courage and the balls and the audacity to shake this system up within the system.
The movie accidentally proves a point. Even when a woman is the political leader, the expectation for the man to be the rock does not disappear. And that's why the scene hurts so much. It exposes a truth no one wants to say out loud. A woman can take the captain's chair, but her heart may still want what only the first officer can give. But what happens when the emotional needs of a dominant woman cannot be met by the very man she has pushed into the follower role?
Muriel, I don't think I'm special. I don't. I'm just how I am. And I don't know any other way to be.
This line is deceptively simple, but it's one of the most important lines in the entire film. Because in this moment, Shirley isn't talking about politics. She's not talking about strategy. She's talking about identity. It sounds like a plea for acceptance, but in the context of a relationship, it often functions as an ultimatum. It is the end of negotiation, the end of compromise, the point where self-awareness becomes self-absolution. It sounds soft, but it moves like steel. And she says the exact sentence that has become the backbone of modern dating frustration. I am how I am. I don't know any other way to be. This is where the film quietly mirrors a cultural reality. Black women in general have adopted this posture because it's the cultural blueprint they were given.
Complete different thing. But since we've never been trained, we haven't been trained, we haven't been taught. So we do it the way we were taught to do it, which is very masculine in nature.
But little did anyone know that actually dating and understanding dating and navigating dating is also a skill within itself. It also has to be taught.
Dating has to be taught. It is a skill in and of itself. It must be taught.
I was a pretty bad wife in the sense that nothing salacious. I just was so focused on my dreams, my ambitions, my aspirations, and frankly, kind of my agenda, you know, and I was immature enough and inexperienced enough to believe that loving me and being even, I guess, married to me even meant going along with that agenda. It meant if you love me enough, you're gonna kind of go my way, or more or less, here is the highway.
The mentality of my way or the highway is installed at birth. This brings us back to the clip from the start of the video.
We need to talk about an elephant in the room. And that's all these black men out here in the public sphere who clearly don't like black women.
The clip of the woman accusing black men of disliking black women because it shows exactly how criticism is received, not with curiosity, with confrontation.
And I'm frankly sick of it. Maybe some of them got rejected by a black girl they liked in middle school.
Not with reflection, with resistance, not with dialogue, with disagreeableness.
They call us angry and difficult or hard to love. But what they're really showing the world is how much they've been damaged by the system that taught them to hate themselves.
And this is not new.
The black women you've met have been uptight. What do you mean by that?
Well, I'll answer the one question. What do I mean by uptight? Going toward a more militant attitude about their own identity. And in many ways are way ahead of the black man.
I don't think that you have to reprogram men. I think you have to reprogram women.
No, you have to reprogram the man so that he will forcefully take what belongs to him, because you know women, as long as we can get, we're gonna get, and it's part of our being. We're going to do anything to you that you let us, whether we want to or not.
There's an almost unfeminine aspect of the black militant woman.
Black men have voiced these concerns for generations. But for decades, the public conversation was a one-way street dominated by Oprah, Sally Jesse, talk shows, advice columns, and women-centered media. These platforms framed male frustration as something caused by men and solvable only by men. But now, men finally have microphones. The manosphere, YouTube, podcasts, these are the new town squares. And men are unified in a message that is simple, blunt, and impossible to silence. We hear you. You are how you are. And we are not obligated to find it attractive. The natural reaction from many women to this pushback is exactly what Shirley shows.
I'm sorry.
A hardening, a doubling down, a refusal to self-reflect.
Long time I didn't do it because women in general, they don't want to hear. They think their way is right, and I'm crazy when I say sit down, shut up, and listen, and you can create what you want. They don't want to hear that. How you manage yourself, how you talk to men. We got to stop talking to these men like they're boys. Even if he is driving the bus and he don't own it, or picking up trash, even if he did 7.5 to 15, that doesn't give us a right to use this divine instrument called a throat and a voice to demean somebody.
Dr. Van Zandt describes something so deeply ingrained that many Black women don't even realize when they're speaking in a demeaning, masculine-coded tone. Some know, but do it anyway, and their response mirrors Shirley's.
I'm just how I am.
This is who I am. I don't know any other way to be. Accept it. But here's the twist, the one the film doesn't preach, but quietly proves. Just because this is who you are doesn't mean men are required to desire it.
Enjoy sacrificing it for what she's doing.
And this is the part modern audiences miss. Conrad does not love Shirley for who she is. He loves her for what she is doing. The mission, the movement, the momentum. That line exposes everything, because by the time their real marriage ends in 1977, the truth becomes unavoidable. Conrad couldn't love the person. He could only love the purpose. But the film does something subtle and dangerous.
There's nothing like the feeling.
It introduces Arthur, played by Terrence Howard, as the man who loves Shirley for who she is, the man who protects her when Conrad couldn't, the man who brings her food, forces her to rest, shields her from the chaos of the campaign. It paints him as the fantasy, the man who accepts the difficult woman exactly as she is, no compromise required, no adjustment necessary. But here's the problem. That portrayal doesn't reflect what men, the majority of men, are actually saying for decades, for generations, across barbershops, interviews, and now podcasts. Men aren't asking for a perfect woman. Men are asking for a wife, not a rival, a complement, not a competitor, a woman who brings relational energy, not campaign energy, into the home. The film gives Shirley a man who loves her as she is. And yes, in real life, Shirley did marry Arthur Hardwick Jr., but the movie's version of Arthur is not a realistic representation of how most men respond to a woman who leads with masculine, political, competitive energy. It's a cinematic ideal, a narrative fantasy. Real men, the majority of men, don't operate that way, because while identity is personal, attraction is not. Which brings us back to the point. Men in 1968 felt trapped. Men in 1998 felt unheard. Men in 2025 finally feel free enough to say, your identity is your right, but the consequences of that identity are not. Identity is personal. Attraction is not. Just because you are who you are does not obligate men to build with it, date it, or wife it. Not because they hate Black women, not because they fear strong women, but because no man wants a competitor in his home. And in the end, Shirley's line crystallizes the entire problem. I just am how I am. This is not feminine energy. This is not cooperative energy. This is not relational energy. It is political energy, the byproduct of a culture where women are taught to lead, command, and negotiate like statesmen rather than relate like partners. It is the quiet echo of a gynocracy, a social structure where women set the emotional terms of the household and men are expected to adapt. Her husband struggles with it. Men today struggle with it. The film doesn't call it by name, but it captures the dynamic flawlessly. And that leads to the tragic irony. The traits that make Shirley powerful in public make her difficult to love in private. Because even when the culture shifts, relationship dynamics don't disappear. Expectations don't disappear. Attraction patterns don't disappear. And in the end, the market always corrects itself. You can demand any price you want for your product. You can insist men accept you as you are. You can even reshape the culture to treat your posture as normal or justified, but you cannot force anyone to buy it.
Patreon gang, salute.
Management, we working. Protect yourself at all times. This video has officially been highlighted.